Yes, everybody, welcome back to Talking Wolves. Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel today. Hope you guys are keeping well and safe. We've got a brand new update video, a little bit to get through over the last few days or so. The last video was at the start of the weekend. We're sort of middle of the week now. Transfer rumours have slowed down a little bit, to be fair, but still plenty for us to talk about. And of course, we kick off with Wolves winning their opening sort of pre-season game. It was behind closed doors, so more of a training game, and it was against the Italian club Como 1907, who I believe have just been promoted to the top division in Italy. And we saw two different 11s from Wolves throughout the game. First half 11 was Daniel Bentley, Lima, Lomvik, Mosquera, Hugo Bueno, Lamina, Rawlings, Rodrigo Gomez, Sarabia, Cunha and Strand Larsen. We then saw the second half 11, which was Tom King, Doherty, Santiago Bueno, Totti, Aït-Nouri, Doyle, Kundal, Podence, Chiquinho, Bellegarde and Hwang, with Lamina captain in the first half team and Hwang captain in the second half team. It's nice for Wolves to get the win as well. They posted a clip of the goal today on the social media with Doherty scoring a header from a Ryan Aït-Nouri free kick, a wide free kick. But unfortunately, the side of things which has been more heavily reported on is the alleged racist incident with one of the Como players making a racial remark towards Hwang Hee-Chan, which is obviously such a disappointing part and one of the worst parts, not just in football but worldwide at the moment. And the sort of, unfortunately, the response from the Italian club has been massively disappointing, pretty much making out Wolves have sort of overreacted and it was been sort of taken out of context. But ultimately, you know, it clearly upset Hwang Hee-Chan. Daniel Podence also got sent off for his reaction to the Como defender, which obviously shows almost the togetherness of this group. And very interesting to see what happens with Daniel Podence. Obviously a big part of or been a part of the pre-season plan so far. Throughout that game as well, Strand Larsen did have a goal that was ruled offside, which Gary O'Neill has since said should have stood. So yeah, a step in the right direction for Wolves, and we now move on to the America Tour, which I'm looking forward to. A couple of late games, but I'm sure we'll give you as much coverage as we can over on our social media pages as well. So moving on, we talk about the Como game. It's been reported, you know, Liam Keane of the Express and Star, Liam Keane and Nathan Judah, you know, were out there reporting on a lot of things. Throughout that game against Como, they saw Wolves playing almost a hybrid type system, switching between a back four and a back five, which we did see at times last season, almost Totti being that left back, you know, and Ryan Aït-Nouri bombing on a little bit more, and vice versa. So it's probably just going to be something that Wolves do work on a little bit more. Hugo Bueno sort of slotted into that sort of a left centre-back role, apparently, in that first half, when Wolves wanted to slot into a back five. So it'll be interesting, certainly, to see, you know, how Wolves do change formations throughout the season. But moving on to little bits of transfer news now as well. Hwang Hee-Chan, who I did mention then, was captain in the second half of that game against Como, has reportedly agreed personal terms with the French club Marseille. Of course, they had a bid rejected last week, which we spoke about on the last video. It's been reported since that Hwang has agreed personal terms, and now it was just up to the two clubs to agree on a fee. Now, since then, more sort of local journalists have basically reported saying the move isn't as advanced as that. Wolves still say that Hwang Hee-Chan is not for sale as far as they're concerned. It would probably have to take a bid of £30 million. It's been reported by other sources for Wolves to consider a fee, which I think is a fair fee for Hwang, considering a player of his quality, but then you have to take into account the injury proneness and so on. It's weird, this story, because it was sort of a collaboration of two sources in Foot Mercato, who are fairly reliable over in France. One of their main reporters, Santi Ayouna, who's reported news quite reliably before, and a Greek reporter from The Sun. So the collaboration of the two reporters didn't really make sense to me. But I was certainly surprised to see when this got rubbished quite quickly by some reporters. But long way to go. I know Marseille have looked into other targets. I think they're close to signing Mason Greenwood, for argument's sake. So I don't know if that takes away from this bid and this offer at all. But we'll wait and see to see if they return for another and bigger bid for Hwang Hee-Chan. Wolves have announced this weekend as well the arrival of the club's first dedicated set-piece coach. They've announced the appointment of Jack Wilson, who was joined from Manchester City. He was at City for 2 years. He was a first-team performance analyst for set pieces. So it'll be nice to see Wolves. It's been not a weakness as such, but certainly an area that Wolves haven't taken advantage of, I don't think. And the fact that that game against Como, they scored from a wide free kick, obviously bodes well. So certainly an area, you know, that Wolves need to try and take advantage of a little bit more, these set pieces, and fingers crossed we can do so. Transfer news as well. Huddersfield Town, now in League One, have reportedly opened talks with Wolves over a potential move, loan move for Joe Hodge. Joe Hodge isn't with the club, or wasn't with the club in Marbella. Obviously, it remains to be seen whether he'll travel to the US. I would assume it's unlikely if he's got a loan move or a potential loan move potentially ready. He had a loan spell out second half of the season at QPR, didn't really get going. I think he scored in his debut, but then struggled a little bit after that to find consistency in form. So although a move to League One sounds a little bit lower than maybe the level and quality that Joe Hodge has, I certainly think to get some consistent game time and a level that he can get himself back up to speed, it's certainly not a bad option, at least until January, and we can review it from there. So Joe Hodge to Huddersfield certainly could be an option. The Athletic reported yesterday that we may well see another offer from Arsenal for Dan Bentley. Obviously, the goalkeeper currently at Wolves. We've mentioned this a couple of times before. Arsenal offered an opening bid of £50,000, which was certainly laughed off by Wolves, who value Bentley closer to £1 million. For Arsenal, Bentley will go down as a homegrown club player, so certainly for registration rules, it makes things a lot better and easier for them. But we'll wait and see to see if there is another offer from Arsenal this week for Dan Bentley. Chiquinho as well, played in that game against Como and has been with the club in Marbella. Gary O'Neill still having a look at him right now. Sporting are still pushing to sign him. Apparently, it's talks have furthered. They have had talks about the potential signing of Chiquinho, but they're still waiting for a decision off Gary O'Neill before they can formalise anything. So as it stands, Chiquinho, very much a Wolves player, very much with the squad. I think when you see the squad announced for the trip to the US, I think that's when you'll start to see where the future lies with certain players. One of those is Gonzalo Guedes, back at Compton right now to get his fitness up. Wasn't a player involved in the Marbella trip, same as Fabio Silva, who didn't travel either. But yeah, Gonzalo Guedes now back at Compton. Posted on his Instagram, so we'll wait and see if he's part of that US tour trip. Does he deserve a second chance like Daniel Podence? Let me know your thoughts on that one in the comment section down below. And a couple of little bits of potential loan news as well. Justin Hubner has captained the under-21s. Dutch-born, represents Indonesia now at international level. Was out on loan in Japan at the J1 League club Cerezo Osaka. He's now been recalled due to the limited minutes. So it remains to be seen what happens with him throughout the season. Are Wolves going to keep him in and around the under-21 squad, or is he going to get another loan move out? Certainly a quality footballer there, just needs that game time. Marvin Keta, who is an under-21s defender as well, has been loaned out. He's got his first loan move away from the club, and he's joined the Scottish Premier League club Motherwell on a season-long loan. We've had a couple of players go out to Scotland in recent years, such as Dexter Lembakisa, and done quite well. So fingers crossed for Marvin Keta, that move works out quite well. And Cam Candola, Wolves under-21 defender as well, was part of the Aldershot squad. They won 5-1 this weekend in a friendly, and Candola has been training and been on trial with Aldershot over the last week or so, so may well move across there. So that is all for today's news, guys, I believe. One thing I will like to finish off on, actually, and it's not something that we report on too often, but it's about Anna Price from the Wolves women. Wolves women captain, been playing for Wolves women for over 30 years, and she has now officially announced her retirement. So, fantastic journey and fantastic career for Anna Price at Wolves. It's certainly an area that I would like Talking Wolves, if we can, to report on more. It's very difficult. Certainly it's not as accessible as the men's games, but I've been to a few Wolves women games, and I always pick some really entertaining matches. Last year I went to a game when they were losing 3-0 and ended up winning 4-3. So certainly an area hopefully we can explore a little bit more in the coming months and seasons. So yeah, fair play to Anna Price, and fantastic career for her. But that's all for today, guys. As always, be sure to hit the like button down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'll be back soon with hopefully some more and positive Wolves news, and until then, I'll catch you next time.